This is Josh Berry.
But here comes Josh Berry, all the way up on the safer barrier.
The following is a production of the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Drivers, start your engine!
The Motor Racing Network presents...
All right, man, be ready here.
NASCAR Live, Race Day.
Ready. Bringing.
From North Wilkesboro Speedway. Brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series is a third of the way through its season, and tonight, it's not about getting stage points. It's not about getting a playoff berth. Tonight, it's all about the sport's best and their attempt to collect $1 million. Hello and welcome to Motor Racing Network's live coverage of the NASCAR All-Star Open and the NASCAR All-Star Race. Mike Bagley here with the entire Motor Racing Network crew at the legendary North Wilkesboro Speedway. Alex Hayden and NASCAR Hall of Famer Rusty Wallace join me now from the broadcast booth. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to run points races, but it's always fun when we're able to set everything aside, just have fun, and make it all about the money.
Exactly right. $1 million to the winner when it's all said and done tonight in the NASCAR All-Star Race here for the NASCAR Cup Series drivers. This is the third consecutive year we're hosting this event at North Wilkesboro Speedway. So there is a good familiarity with these teams, with this racetrack. And unlike last year, we only have one Goodyear Racing Eagle tire. It is a soft rubber compound. It has been very durable in all the practice sessions and qualifying. So the teams are ready to go. But Rusty, there's no points on the line. It's all about a trophy and some bragging rights.
Yeah, basically all about the money. That's the big deal. And these teams, all these teams are in the North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina area. They'll bring their families up here, all their friends. Everybody's here at North Wilkesboro tonight to watch their favorite driver and their teams compete. This is all about showing off. It's all about getting the money. And this All-Star Open we're about to get going with, they only get two guys plus a fan vote that make it, so they're going to have to drive their brains out. And I expect there's going to be a little beating and banging, some crashing going on.
Well, you were involved in that back in 1989. That's how you won the Winston, as it was known back then. What's it like coming out of that, intense atmosphere of trying to get every point you can to basically undoing the top button, just kind of sitting back, relaxing, just having some good old-fashioned
fun?
Well,
what changes? That's a great question, Mike. What changes when you go out for just the big one and win all that money, not points racing? You get everybody in the world that comes out and tells you how to do it. Hey, buddy, go get them. Kick their butt, man. I'll be watching. They jack you up like you're not believing. So you go in this race with your chest all pumped out, all fired up, and everybody's patting you on the back. It's way, way different than getting ready to start the Daytona 500 or the Coca-Cola 600, something like that. We all know this is a short track. We know everybody's going to be jacked up and fired up, but it's just not yourself doing it here. You got a lot of fans and people, and even your wife gets after you on this one.
The fans have been filing in since dawn. We are ready to go. What will be the Open leading into the All-Star race? The All-Star Open, 100 laps. All laps will count, and there'll be a caution around lap 50. There'll be one overtime attempt if necessary, but 3 drivers from the Open will advance to the All-Star race. The top 2 finishers, plus the fan vote, will transfer tonight.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grau.
Hi, I'm Donnie Shaw.
This is Brian Brown.
This is Danny Dietrich.
Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strummy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. All sprint cars, all the time.
Mentioned a moment ago that the fan vote winner will transfer on to the All-Star race. Noah Gragson has won the fan vote the last 2 years. From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Looking for a weekly motorsports podcast to stay up to date on what's happening on and off the track? The Motor Racing Network is the place. Hear from NASCAR crew chiefs on MRN Crew Call. All the happenings from regional touring series and local tracks on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Sprint Car Talk on Winged Nation. NASCAR history on MRN Classic Races. And hear from the drivers on NASCAR Live. MRN podcasts available on MRN.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is NASCAR Live Race Day.
All-Star Night continues at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Motor Racing Network on the air. So glad you're spending your Sunday night with us. We talk about the All-Star Open getting ready to happen. Talking about the drivers that could possibly transfer. Noah Gragson, as I mentioned, is a two-time fan vote winner. Let's get his thoughts now as he tries to race his way into the big show. He's with Chris Wilner of Carmel, Indiana.
Noah Gragson lines up third in the Open here this afternoon. As we get ready to go, Noah, get your thoughts on the race car. You had a little bit of time this morning and afternoon to think about it. How do you feel like racing your way in today? I know you want to get the fan vote too, but racing your way would be probably pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. It's been cool to come up here the last 2 years and get the fan vote the prior 2 years. So, but I want to race my way in. The Rule King Ford Mustang was pretty good in qualifying. We struggled a little bit in practice, just getting super tight, not getting the front tires to work the way I feel like we need to, but the Rule King team at front row has been working really hard. So we'll see once they drop the green flag. We'll work hard to keep this thing up front and starting third. The pit crew, they're lights out, so they've been good. They had the third fastest time of all the pit stop crews in the pit stop challenge. So it's cool. The atmosphere up here is electric. It's the all-star race, baby. This shit's badass.
It's pretty cool indeed. Now, obviously, this weekend with the amount of practice, you have the qualifying session, heat races. You've been on the racetrack quite a bit. So where do you feel like this racetrack's going to go in 100 laps for this Open?
It's definitely really hard to pass in the Cup cars. It seems like you can get somebody's right rear. It's kind of the best place to be to make passes. It's really hard to pass somebody, to dive low and turn underneath them and pass them on the bottom. So the challenge with that is there's a lot of marbles out there that the Cup cars drop. So you go higher until you get in the marbles, and then you just kind of lose all traction. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but all these guys are good in the Cup Series. It'll be a pretty chaotic 100 laps, I'm thinking.
It's going to be exciting indeed. He's fired up, and apologize for the language, but Noah Gragson ready to go in his front-row Ford Mustang Dark Horse starting third.
Ryan Preece is also ready to go tonight as well. Had a 7th-place finish at the Kansas Speedway last weekend. Steve Post of Halstead, Pennsylvania, a perfect springboard for that team into the All-Star break.
Ryan starts in the 5th spot here tonight. Mike Bagley just referenced your 7th-place finish. Solid run at Kansas last week. Momentum and a springboard into this event. How do you feel it plays out here at North Wilkesboro?
Well, I mean, honestly, when we showed up here, I feel really good about it. North Wilkesboro has certainly been aging pretty well, and it's a racetrack that's supported by the community, and I love these short tracks. So certainly excited about this Boston Common Golf Ford Mustang, and Fear the Frog.
Fear the Frog. How about the boss man picking up the heat race win last night? Your teammate Chris Buescher was out there as well. What did you see? What did you learn from them as you try to apply it to this open race?
Well, it seemed like you needed to take care of your tires, so that's going to be something you're going to have to be mindful of tonight because it's about 25 laps longer. And there's quite a few more cars out there, so it's going to lay more rubber. So moving around, being versatile is going to be important.
Move around, be versatile. We'll see what happens. That's Ryan Preece. Starts in position number 5. Fear the Frog. That's the motto here in this green Ford Mustang Dark Horse.
Ryan Preece will roll off, as Posty said, for the 5th spot inside of row number 3.
The thrills of NASCAR racing from over 55 years of Motor Racing Network broadcasts.
Bobby Allison brings the race car right down in the middle of the track, crosses the start-finish line, and he will win the 24th annual Daytona 500.
Bill Elliott wins the Hooters 500. Alan Kulwicki, 1992 champion.
MRN Classic Races.
And in the whole pack, steaming for the finish line, Dale Earnhardt wins the Winston 500.
Find all the classic moments on MRN Classic Races on any podcast platform.
We are under the green flag.
Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me along with the cast and crew of the Motor Racing Network every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. Hear exclusive interviews.
It's my responsibility as a driver to leave the sport in a better place than it was when I got here. And certainly sometimes it comes with controversial takes.
The best moments from each of NASCAR's premier series.
They bang sideways at the line. Photo finish.
And in-depth breakdowns of the latest NASCAR news and more. It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern.
From Wilkes County, North Carolina, this is NASCAR Live Race Day.
Welcome back to North Wilkesboro Speedway, getting ready for the All-Star Open. 3 of these drivers will transfer into the All-Star race. Qualifying was held Friday night, and it was a surprise who will lead the field to the green flag. That gentleman is with our Steve Post.
And that gentleman is Shane Van Gisbergen, going to lead us to green. Shane, life is full of all kinds of newness, all kinds of new things. You had that new qualifying procedure on Friday night, and the newness of leading a field to green here on an oval track. Just what's your take on what you've done so far here at North Wilkesboro?
It's been good. I think we're showing improvement finally on the ovals, and car feels really good. Looking forward to the race and just learning as we go. You know, every week I'm learning something and getting better, and yeah, thanks to my guys. They're working real hard, and hopefully we keep improving.
How does this oval then compare to some of the other ovals? I know Bristol's way different, Martinsville, even some of the other oval tracks we had. What have you noticed similar and different about this oval?
Man, every oval track I've been to is only 2 corners, and they're all different. Like, it's crazy, and especially here, the downhill into turn 1 and uphill down the backstretch. It's awesome how, and the banking on both corners, the line. I reckon it's really cool how challenging and individual each track is. I enjoy that.
Really does, and he's going to enjoy it from the pole position. That's Shane Van Gisbergen.
The driver starting next to him on the outside of the front row drives for Spire Motorsports. Carson Hocevar almost took the top spot away, but he will start in the second position. He's with Chris Wilner.
And chatting with his crew chief, Luke Lambert, as well as he gets ready to climb aboard his Chevrolet. So Carson on the front row here. 100 laps goes by in a hurry. How aggressive do you have to be in this one to ensure you make it onto the All-Star race?
Well, I just pointed at Steven Duran because obviously he was with Spire and now he's with the 88. And he knows I'm talking about it right now. He's in trouble. He's in trouble tonight, especially starting on the front row of the 88. No, it's you got to have to be aggressive. It's going to be a really important track position. Obviously, it's super tough to pass, especially when the high line comes in. It's going to be kind of like a dirt race. And I watched a lot of Chili Bowl videos, honestly, of just how they do the minimum speed and everything. Just trying to see what I could pick up and learn because it feels pretty similar, honestly, for how you run the top and how you do everything here, especially down to 1 and 2. So when that top opens up, you're going to want to be the first one there.
I know you're eager to make your first All-Star race. You were 10th in this event last year. How much are you also learning but also making sure you're in that transfer spot? I know you don't want to rely on a fan vote. You want to race your way in.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think our cars are way better than they were last year. And, I think, realistically, if we didn't make the All-Star race, I think we could do something with it, right? I think it's a big difference between just making it, happy to be there, and actually just being able to be competitive and be in the All-Star race and hopefully race our way forward. I think our cars have been fast enough to do that, and based off practice on our average, we weren't very fast for the first 5 to 10, but we were really good late in the race, or late in the run, and especially when it moved up. And so more laps, the better, I think, would help us, and if we got in the big show.
An optimistic Carson Hocevar starts on the front row of the Open. He'll start second.
Their cars have had speed, and perhaps maybe this is a night where Carson Hocevar could take the checkered flag and become a NASCAR All-Star.
NASCAR Live isn't just Tuesday nights. On Thursday, we go wide open with some of the sport's biggest legends.
Dover's so good that even concrete couldn't ruin it.
And some of NASCAR's rising stars.
I don't like getting drove in the back of, and I honestly don't like doing it, but you're not buddy-buddy with everybody, and I've had to learn that.
NASCAR Live Wide Open has you covered from the rookie class all the way to the Hall of Fame. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Drivers, start your engines!
Your home for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Green flag goes in the air, and we are underway.
On the NASCAR Racing Network.
2 by 2 by 2. They're about 10 rows deep of double-wide racing. Taylor Gray to the bottom. Nick Sanchez outside, and they're crashing mid-pack.
It's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on the NASCAR Racing Network.
Friday night in qualifying, there was also the Pit Crew Challenge, and it was Michael McDowell's pit crew that walked away with a $100,000 payday. They were the fastest of all of the pit crews. We'll check in with the driver when we return. First, from North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast. And you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
From Wilkes County, North Carolina, this is NASCAR Live Race Day.
Getting ready for the NASCAR All-Star Open here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. We talked to one Spire Motorsports driver a moment ago with Carson Hocevar. Let's catch up with another. Michael McDowell will start the Open tonight in 4th. Steve Post?
Yes, and you referenced it, Mike. Michael McDowell, they've already had a win this week as far as the team goes. They won the Pit Crew Challenge. That gives them the very first pit box down here. Michael, winning in NASCAR Cup Series racing is a challenge. You've done it a few times as a driver, but what does it mean for a team to, even if it's on a Friday night, to get the win for that day?
No, it's huge. I mean, because we know that this is a special weekend with this all-star format, and it's a special day for the pit crews where they're put head-to-head and their own, and I don't want to say individual competition, but their own competition inside the competition. And, to see them rise to the occasion was awesome, and to celebrate that. And like you said, you'll take any wins you can get in the Cup Series because they're hard to come by, but really proud of my guys and the effort. And hopefully we've done everything we needed to do with this Delaware Life Chevrolet, to hit this condition correctly, because as you've seen, it's been a lot of racing since we were on track on Friday, right? And you just look at, the rubber, you look at the modifieds, a lot of oil, a lot of speedy dry, there's patches down there. And so coming into it, you definitely have nerves of trying to figure out what you're going to need and what you're going to have. So we're starting close to the front. We have a good opportunity here. We just got to make the most of this start and put ourselves in position.
You talk about track conditions, and the modified race, they put down a lot of speedy dry. There was a lot of things that happened down there. So aggressive, hesitant, what are the tendencies in the first laps of this one, Michael, as you try to maintain your track position? You're starting 5th, try not to give it away, but try to make some progress also.
Yeah, for sure. I think you got to stay aggressive, but you don't want to throw it away for sure, because this still is going to be, a 100-lap race. And you're going to have, a pit stop there halfway. So you got to keep that in mind as you're going through, the run. But track position, as we saw yesterday, is so important. Brad was able to stay out there that whole time and lead every lap. So, you got to balance it. You got to be situationally aware. You got to stay aggressive. But at the same time, there is still enough race to go race. And so you got to have that right approach.
Michael McDowell, he starts the Open here in position number 5.
Zane Smith of Front Row Motorsports will roll off in the 6th position. Let's get his thoughts with Chris.
He's got the yellow and blue Long John Silver's colors aboard his Ford Mustang Dark Horse. As you mentioned, Mike rolls off in the 6th spot. Zane, I talked to your teammate Noah Gragson. Seemed pretty optimistic you could make some passes here. Starting 6th, where do you feel like your comfortability is with this race car going into 100 laps?
I'm super comfortable with my car and the speed it had in it. It's going to be obviously really hard to pass, but in practice, I thought my car made a lot of grip, drove pretty well, just try to get some of the tightness out of it, and I felt we had an area where a direction we could go to work towards for today. So hopefully we chose the right direction, but I'm excited for today. Would love to have the opportunity to race for $1 million. It's just crazy saying that, but all in all, I got to do one thing at a time. That's transfer in.
This weekend is so unique, and I know you and I were just talking about it. You had yesterday off, but now you got to focus in after having half the day to think about it. So how do you quickly switch your mind into competition mode, knowing what's at stake?
Yeah, it was kind of weird sitting on my couch, just hanging out, enjoying a nice day, and watching Cup cars on track. It just doesn't really feel right, but I guess it was cool to get a little time off, but I would love to get a win this year and be able to spend my time in the All-Star races moving forward. But watch those heats and kind of what I expected. It's fast, short track. It's gaining character as we go, but just with that, it's tough to pass. Everyone's so dang good, so being aggressive when you can, and we saw a little strategy there with 2 tire calls that worked out. So wouldn't be surprised if we see some more of that today.
Second Open appearance for Zane Smith. He starts in 6th.
Ty Gibbs could be a force to be reckoned with tonight. He'll start 8th, and he's with Steve Post.
Gibbs will start there in top 10 roll here. I believe in the 8th spot here is Ty Gibbs down here, talking with one of the NASCAR officials, and Robert Cheddar Smith down here holding court. Whenever Cheddar's around, there's always a bunch of laughing and carrying on going on. But when it comes to this All-Star Open race, Ty, you've transferred in the last 2 years, including a dominant win here last year. You have a little work to do starting mid-pack here. How do you get to the front, and how do you feel about your race car?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I think our car is definitely really quick and capable of making it in, so it's just about me kind of getting through the field and getting up front and transferring. We didn't have a great qualifying session, but I know that we're there and we'll be strong tonight.
How has this racetrack aged or changed since last year?
Well, I can tell you it's changed since the last time in here because the modified's there, and there's a lot of speedy dry down, there's a lot of rubber down, there's a lot of liquid on the track, so I think it's going to take us a while to kind of clean that up, but I think it's going to be, hopefully, the 54 Sirius XM Camry will be up front.
Ty Gibbs ain't wrong with that. That modified race was rough and tumble here. He's going to start and roll forward. We'll see how he fares here, trying to go for 3 in qualifying from the Open to the All-Star race.
Well, the good news for Ty and the rest of the field, the track has been working on turns 1 and 2, where a lot of the mayhem broke loose, a lot of speedy dry was laid down. They have washed the track. They've even painted the turn 1 and 2 walls, all in preparation for the NASCAR All-Star Open, which is about to begin.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grouse.
Hi, I'm Donnie Schott.
This is Brian Brown.
This is Danny Dietrich.
Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strummy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation, all sprint cars, all the time.
We're at the start-finish line.
William Byron on pole position. Green flag is out and we're racing.
We're in the turn.
Here to the inside comes Kyle Larson. He and Hamlin bump.
We're on pit road.
4-tire Sunoco Racing Fuel. The face-off from pit road is Denny Hamlin. Aaron Jones goes off second.
We are live from the track. The Motor Racing Network, your home for NASCAR racing. Don't miss a lap, pit stop, or side-by-side race for the win. Listen to all the play-by-play action on your local radio station and MRN or NASCAR.com.
The starting lineup is next. First from North Wilkesboro Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
Association of Broadcasters.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me along with the cast and crew of the Motor Racing Network every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. Hear exclusive interviews.
It's my responsibility as a driver to leave the sport in a better place than it was when I got here. And certainly sometimes it comes with controversial takes.
The best moments from each of NASCAR's premier series.
They bang sideways at the line. Photo finish.
And in-depth breakdowns of the latest NASCAR news and more. It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern.
Here's the starting lineup for the NASCAR All-Star Open. Row 9.
Chad Fincham, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Todd Gilliland, Mooresville, North Carolina.
Row 8.
A.G. Allmendinger, Los Gatos, California.
Cody Ware, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Row 7.
Bubba Wallace, Mobile, Alabama.
Riley Herbst, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Row 6.
Eric Jones, Byron, Michigan.
Cole Custer, Ladera Ranch, California.
And now, the top 10 starters. Starting 10th.
Ty Dillon, Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Starting 9th.
Ty Gibbs, Washington, D.C.
Starting 8th.
John Hunter Nemechek, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Starting 7th.
Justin Haley, Winnemac, Indiana.
Starting 6th.
Zane Smith, Huntington Beach, California.
Starting 5th.
Ryan Preece, Berlin, Connecticut.
Starting 4th.
Michael McDowell, Glendale, Arizona.
Starting 3rd.
Noah Gragson, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Starting 2nd.
Carson Hocevar, Portage, Michigan.
And starting on the pole.
Shane van Gisbergen, Manukau, New Zealand.
That's the starting lineup for the NASCAR All-Star Open.
We are getting set for the All-Star Open here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Welcome back to Motor Racing Network's coverage from North Wilkesboro Speedway. We've heard from some of the drivers. You just heard the 18 that will start this race. And again, 3 drivers will transfer over. The top 2 finishers and the fan vote winner. Alex, that sets up moments for intensity, the opportunity for risk versus reward. What are you willing to do to make the All-Star race with a chance to win $1 million?
You're right about that on the risk versus reward, Mike, because you want to be one of the top 2 to race your way to be an All-Star in 2025. But if you ruin your race car trying to get that task accomplished, then you're not going to have a chance at winning $1 million later on tonight. So you're going to have a good race car. You understand that there will be that All-Star caution at or around lap number 50 and an opportunity to adjust your car. I think the opening 50 laps, Mike, stay on the lead lap. If your car's not handling well, the goal would be stay on the lead lap until you can put a wrench to it.
Rusty, let's back away and let's give an overall view of this racetrack. You've raced here many times. You've won here 3 times. You swept the 1993 season, won back here in 1988. This place may have a fresh coat of asphalt on it, but there are characteristics about this racetrack that can be a little testy at times. What's it like to race on this racetrack?
Number one, it's way different than anything you've ever had happen to you. You run down the front straightaway downhill. People talk it all the time. Yep, this track, you go downhill. Once you get to turn 1, the top of turn 1 and 2 really comes in real good. You can really use the top of this racetrack. But when you come down that back straightaway, you're climbing the straightaway all the way to turn 3, and when you get there, you want to really be right on the bottom of the racetrack. That's the fastest way around. But then it's a tricky exit off of turn 4. But, you know, this track, the characteristics have not changed since I've won on it. It's got a fresh coat of asphalt on it. That's cool. We got different cars, stuff like that. But I'll be focused a lot on the exit of turn 2 today. I think that's where a lot of the passing is going to happen.
We've seen that already so far this weekend, Alex, in other forms of racing. Of course, at one point or another, every corner of this racetrack has gotten to work out.
You're right about that. There is no out-of-bounds racing, and I bring that up because there is a white line painted to drivers left around this track. And we saw Kyle Larson last year and the year before put the left side Goodyear tires on concrete. There's about 6-8 feet of concrete from the asphalt banking to the inside wall. And Larson was using that with the left front tire to help get the back of the car to turn and rocket down these straightaways.
Yeah, that you pretty well got to do that because as you exit turn 4 at this racetrack, you start going downhill, and the racetrack falls out from underneath you, and you actually can spin the tires big time off of turn 4. So what they try to do is get a straight shot off the corner. They try to exit turn 4 and go a straight line right to the outside. They're actually aiming at the start-finish line. They don't want the car turning because the more you turn it, the more to light the rear tires up.
Now, one thing we've not talked about, we always talk about this when we go to Martinsville, but Rusty, short track racing always brings it out, making sure you exercise patience and you don't lose your mind in the process tonight.
Oh, boy, it's easy to lose your mind. It's really, really easy to lose your patience on a short track, especially with no points, and it's all about money, and you got all your buddies here, everybody watching you. Yeah, you gotta have some patience, but remember, this is not a points-paying race. This is not a normal race, so you can kind of really get it on here more than you normally do.
Agree with that, but we still have points-paying races starting back next week. So if you do something to cross up a competitor here, those race car drivers are still human. They're going to remember that come next week and the following week after that.
That is a very, very good point. And, Alex, I got to hand it to you on that one because I did not think about that. Yeah, if you make somebody mad tonight, that doesn't mean they're going to be okay next week because it's a points-paying race. They're still going to be mad.
Yeah, I'm sure there won't be text messages or there won't be phone calls. It'll be handled on the racetrack at some point going forward. And, again, once we conclude tonight, it's back to paying points and continuing through the rest of the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series schedule, obviously with the season's longest race next weekend with the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. All of the pre-race pomp and circumstance for the All-Star Open is done. The drivers have been introduced. All of them now are buckled into their race cars, and the only thing left to do is get the command to fire engines. That's coming up in a moment. For 18 drivers, a 100-lap test ahead to try to make it into the NASCAR All-Star race and race with the big boys later on tonight for $1 million. Let's go trackside right now for the command for the Open.
And now, here to say the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome guest of Busch Light and president of Ready Mart, Odell Graham.
Drivers, start your engines.
A field of 18 comes to life. We are set to go racing in Wilkes County, North Carolina.
NASCAR Live isn't just Tuesday nights. On Thursday, we go wide open with some of the sport's biggest legends.
Dover's so good that even concrete couldn't ruin it.
And some of NASCAR's rising stars.
I don't like getting drove in the back of, and I honestly don't like doing it, but you're not buddy-buddy with everybody, and I've had to learn that.
NASCAR Live Wide Open has you covered from the rookie class all the way to the Hall of Fame. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
We are the voice of NASCAR.
The green flag is in the air, and we are underway. The Great American Race.
The Motor Racing Network. NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and Craftsman Truck Series Racing live on your hometown radio station and MRN or NASCAR.com. Martinsville, Talladega, the Chicago Street Course. We have the side-by-side action and last lap passes for the win.
Photo finishes. Ryan Blaney will win.
The voice of NASCAR, the Motor Racing Network.
From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Find anywhere else? Check out the Motor Racing Network's lineup of exclusive podcasts. MRN Classic Races, Junior's Journey, The Many Hats of Jack Roush, Richard Petty, Road to Royalty, 50 Years of MRN, Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career, and The Tough Trucks of NASCAR. Find these and more MRN exclusive podcasts on podcast providers and MRN.com.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast. And you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
The command has been given, and the field begins to roll off the pit lane for their pace and parade laps for the NASCAR All-Star Open. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro Speedway. We are getting ready for a 100-lapper that will set the stage for tonight's feature, the NASCAR All-Star Race. As the field pulls up onto the banking of turns 1 and 2, let's take a trip around the North Wilkesboro Speedway and bring in another voice that will call the action tonight, positioned high atop turn 4 with arguably the best view in the house, Dave Moody of Barry, Vermont.
No doubt about it, Mike. Great place to watch a stock car race here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The tail of the tape here in Wilkes County. Well, the straightaways, front and back, both 465 feet in length. The turns, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all banked 13 degrees. But with that said, the racing groove has changed dramatically since this track opened for business on Thursday, and we don't really know where the fast lane is going to be by the time we're done here tonight. At least early, it may be the bottom of the racetrack, but in earlier races this week, we've seen drivers make the outside the place to be, all part of the fun when you come to All-Star Weekend here at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
It is a grand old facility as this field now works around into the first of a handful of pace and parade laps. Time now for a final story from the pit lane before the drop of the green flag for the All-Star Open, starting at the exit of Pit Road and Steve Post.
Alex, we referenced this in our conversation with Michael McDowell, but I want to revisit it. Their pit crew, they won the Pit Crew Challenge on Friday night. They won $100,000. Sponsorship on that was from Mechanics Wear, but they also won the rights to start and pick the first pit box. Those crew members, the front tire changer for Michael McDowell, Max Marsh. Ty Beck is the rear tire changer. Luke Bussell is the carrier. Dax Hollifield III is the jackman, and Brandon Chapman is the fueler. Those 5 gentlemen performed a pit stop better than everyone else. Yeah, the money is great. The championship is great, but the bragging rights here among the crew members may be the best thing, and it'll last for a long time. That's the story on Michael McDowell. He will start in the 5th spot, but does have that first pit box after that Pit Crew Challenge win. Chris Wellner?
One of the drivers here in the Open, Steve Post, that has a lot of experience both racing their way in and also being the All-Star race is Eric Jones. And I talked to him before he climbed aboard his Legacy Motor Club Toyota. He felt like what they learned yesterday just watching the heat races opens up the playbook a little bit more as far as strategy. Remember what Christopher Bell did to win the second heat race by taking 2 tires? I wouldn't be surprised if most of these drivers, including Eric Jones, in the back half of this field maybe opt to do that for track position. It's hard to pass out here. Eric Jones was not scared to say that, but he felt like that if they can get the track position, they maybe one to contend with up towards the front. So strategy game here in 100 laps that will go by quickly could be the name of the game for a driver with a lot of experience here in Eric Jones.
That trip to pit road presented by Powerball. The NASCAR Powerball playoff is back. Start your entries for the chance to win $1 million at NASCAR Championship Weekend. Powerball, the official lottery game of NASCAR.
The field makes their way down the pit lane, making sure their tachometers are set where they need to be. They've got to make a pit stop later on tonight, and a pit road speeding penalty could be detrimental to them. We saw a lot of pit road speeding penalties here already this weekend. Saw it yesterday in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, and also in the heat races here. So a unique pit road, Rusty Wallace. You enter going in turn 3. You got to stay all the way around at 30 miles an hour all the way around pit road.
And boy, that's agonizing. 30 miles per hour, you know, if under green flag, you can get lapped doing that many times if you do it wrong. I hate that really slow pit road, but it is cool that it's separated. The pit road is separated from the racetrack with a wall. Not really hard to do. It's pretty wide also out there. I mean, they've refigured this racetrack. They did a great job with the wall and laying out pit road. I do like this pit road.
That is a lot of room to work down there on the pit lane. It's awfully wide. Drivers can do what they need to do. Crews can do the same as well. We've just gotten a 1-to-go signal. Field is doubled up behind the Ford Mustang safety car. When they come back to the line, the green flag will fly, and we'll be off and running for 100 laps. All laps will count in this one with a all-star caution coming at around lap 50 and one overtime attempt in the Open tonight.
Top 2 finishers will advance to be all-stars. The non-top 2 finisher that has the highest fan votes will also advance to the all-star race. An awful lot on the line to call the start of the Open from Milford, Delaware. Here's Mike Bagley.
Shane Van Gisbergen and Carson Hocevar are on the front row. Shane Van Gisbergen will out for the outside lane. Green flag is up, and SVG is away already with the lead, trying to leave him in his dust.
He got a good jump at the initial drop of the green flag, and will turn into the lead down the back straightaway as he overhauls Carson Hocevar. Hocevar now trying to fend off his teammate Michael McDowell,
who looks to the outside of Carson Hocevar. Hocevar was be able to strong, slides up across the bow of McDowell. The front 3 go to turn 1.
So the front row motorsport, or the Spire Motorsports teammates running second and third, Carson Hocevar and Michael McDowell. Now front row motorsports moves into the 4th spot, courtesy of Zane Smith.
Zane Smith and Noah Gragson racing there. You've got John Hunter Nemechek from Legacy Motor Club looking on. That will be a battle for the number 4 position.
High Line has got to move on here in the early going. Noah Gragson pinned down to the bottom of the racetrack, gives up a spot to Zane Smith. John Hunter Nemechek thought about going high. Now will look low as Gragson drifts up the racetrack.
Gragson's car loose on the throttle being applied to the car. Wiggles just a bit, but he's able to maintain the position.
John Hunter Nemechek trying to wedge his way underneath Noah Gragson. They'll go side by side down the back straightaway. That's the battle for 5th.
They are side by side for 5th. They're wheel to wheel for 7th, 9th, and 11th as they race their way back to turn number 1. Rusty, what are you seeing so far?
I tell you, I really like how they could run side by side around this racetrack, especially down the high side of turn 2. I mean, they could really lay on that throttle, and the cars get underneath them. They carry speed too. And you never would think once you get down into turn 3, which is a little bit flatter corner than turn 1 and 2, they could run side by side there too. I really like how they did this fresh repave and how the racetrack's working so far.
Noah Gragson going the wrong way, had a big moment going into turn 1 last lap. Not sure if he had some help, but the car again, just back of the car going left and right, side to side. Very loose race car. He's stuck on the outside lane, will give up another position. He has now fallen back, has Gragson to the number 9 spot off turn 2.
And again goes extremely wide at the apex of turns 1 and 2. He'll be challenged on the inside now by Ty Dillon. Dillon drives it deep into 3.
Off turn 4, it's Shane Van Gisbergen the leader. Carson Hocevar second. Michael McDowell, Zane Smith the top 4. Dave, they're stacked up from 5th on back.
John Hunter Nemechek has just given up a spot. Underneath him, going through turns 1 and 2, Ryan Preece. Move Preece to 5th place.
Solid effort for Ryan Preece. He's got 3 car links to make up to get to the back bumper of the 4th place running Zane Smith, who in turn goes up the racetrack in turn 2.
Smith running up about 2.5 grooves off the bottom of the racetrack. Ryan Preece running a lower line. He's still got some catching up to do, about 4 car lengths in arrears.
First driver out of line further back is Bubba Wallace. Bubba rooting and gouging his way to the inside of Noah Gragson. That's the side-by-side battle for 10th. with Eric Jones looking on.
Yeah, the news not getting any better for Noah Gragson as Bubba Wallace to the inside of him, trying to battle away that number 10 position. Right behind them will come the Eric Jones machine, followed by A.J. Allmendinger.
Everybody running single file with the exception further back of Noah Gragson. He's got Bubba Wallace to his inside as Gragson continues to fight an ill-handling car.
Give him credit. He keeps pounding away at that outside lane, but the car just not cooperating at least as well as he would like it to. He finally gets it down to the low lane.
Well, I tell you, Shane Van Gisbergen, he was telling us earlier about how he's learning from track to track and trying to get better and better. He's really took a liking to this track. In the interview, he really said a lot of positive things about it, and I really like how he's driving the track right now. He's keeping it nice and low off at turn 4, and then when he gets down to turn 1, he takes it right to the top of the track and uses that banking to keep that acceleration going off at turn 2, but it looked like he's just fell in love with this place already.
He leads by 0.8 of a second. Further back, wheel to wheel, Ty Gibbs is on the move.
Gibbs is under attack right now, trying to hold off the highline advance from Justin Haley.
As Haley drifts back, slips coming off turn 4, Ty Gibbs will get by. Further up, here's Michael McDowell looking to the inside of his teammate.
Putting the pressure on Carson Hocevar. That's the battle for second as Shane Van Gisbergen begins to ride off into the sunset. McDowell decides it's time to turn up the pressure.
Oh, he just hit Hocevar coming off the corner. He's given him 2 nudges now in the last lap and a half. Michael McDowell is ready to move, but Hocevar's got to get out of the way.
Carson definitely knows he's there by now, and now Michael McDowell's got a wheel to the inside on the back straightaway. Michael McDowell down low for second.
Teammates are not. Top 2 advanced to the All-Star race tonight. McDowell's pit crew has already proven they are the best here this weekend. He wants to prove he's the best driver later on tonight.
Side by side for a spot in the All-Star race as they run nose to nose. It allows Zane Smith to close in. And also here comes Ryan Preece.
4 drivers right now stacked up from second on back. Shane Van Gisbergen's lead. It's now 1.3 seconds. They're 2 wide, 2 rows deep from second on back.
SVG loves what he sees in the rear view mirror. Objects are not as close as they may appear. He's got a healthy lead, and they are 2 by 2 for second on back.
They are, and they're going to give each other plenty of racing room off turn number 4. Hocevar on the outside lane. McDowell dives for the bottom.
Carson Hocevar keeping it wound up in that outside lane. Michael McDowell trying to take the short way around on the bottom. At the same time, try not to overcharge the corner and drift up into his teammate.
Carson Hocevar, though, gives him plenty of racing room at the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, McDowell tried to slide in line right in front of Preece, but Preece would not let that happen.
Fastest car in the group, maybe the Ryan Preece machine. He has bypassed Zane Smith. He now pulls to the outside of McDowell. That's the battle for third.
He may be getting a little bit antsy as those 2 drivers from Spire Motorsports have been knotted together side by side. One on the left lane, one on the right lane, but Ryan Preece getting frustrated.
Carson Hocevar running the top of the racetrack through the corners. McDowell on the bottom. Preece now will go to the top on McDowell. That's the wheel-to-wheel battle for position number 3.
Boy, McDowell's in a tough position being trapped on the bottom, especially as he exits turn 4. He can't let that car drift up against the wall and carry his speed. He's locked on the bottom, spinning his tires down there, can't get it done. When you're side by side, man, it looks like that top lane's the place to be around here.
Carson Hocevar has gotten away with second. Ryan Preece using the outside line as wheel-to-wheel with McDowell for third. All of that going on almost 2 seconds behind race leader Shane Van Gisbergen.
Hi, I'm Daniel Suarez, NASCAR driver, and I'm very excited to announce the NASCAR Cup Series is coming to Mexico. For the first time in history, NASCAR Cup Series will leave the United States and visit Mexico City. See you at the Autódromo Hermano Rodriguez from June 13 to June 15. Fast cars, sharp turns, and the magic of Mexico. Let's race. Get your tickets for the NASCAR Mexico City weekend on Ticketmaster.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grau.
Hi, I'm Donnie Shaw.
This is Brian Brown.
This is Danny Dietrich. Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strummy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. All sprint cars, all the time.
Shane Van Gisbergen continues to pull away from the field here at North Wilkesboro. His lead last lap was 2.3 seconds. This time across the start-finish line, he will marginalize that to 2.4 over Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell, and Zane Smith. From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Looking for a weekly motorsports podcast to stay up to date on what's happening on and off the track? The Motor Racing Network is the place. Hear from NASCAR crew chiefs on MRN Crew Call. All the happenings from regional touring series and local tracks on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Sprint Car Talk on Winged Nation. NASCAR history on MRN Classic Races. And hear from the drivers on NASCAR Live. MRN podcasts available on MRN.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform.
We continue under the green flag in the All-Star Open here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. 30 laps of the 100 are complete, and Shane Van Gisbergen's lead now is 2.8 seconds. While we have a moment, let's get an update on Front Row Motorsports. Zane Smith is running in 5th. Noah Gragson is running in 14th. Let's get the update first from Chris on Zane.
Yeah, Zane, who was up to the 3rd position early on in this run, came over the radio to crew chief Ryan Bergenti and said, man, I can't turn in the center of the corner. You can tell on the racetrack as he's starting to fall down the leaderboard, now to 5th in this battle for 6th. So he's starting to lose a little bit of grip, can't get the car to turn. They're trying to just coach him through, maybe changing his approach to running into the corners a little bit differently, as well as the brake bias, trying to massage that a little bit. But it's a struggle right now for Zane Smith, who continues to try to fight the handling of his race car. Steve Post, what about the other Front Row Motorsports driver?
It's a struggle there as well, as Noah Gragson has moved to the back of the field. Now, Alex Hayden had speculated he had a moment down in turn number 1. He did get a little assist down into the corner, and that slid him up the racetrack, and he just could never get the car back down in the groove and lost a whole bunch of spots and really has struggled keeping that car turning through the corner. And now he's just cued the radio and said he's got a power steering issue. He hasn't determined, or he hasn't given any other detail, but a little power steering challenge as well for Noah Gragson. So not what we're looking for Front Row Motorsports here as we approach the midpoint of this All-Star Open.
When there would be an All-Star caution at or around lap number 50, and an opportunity for those who choose to come to pit lane to do so and really work on their race cars and try to dial them in. Right now, Shane Van Gisbergen's got it all going his way. And Rusty, you had mentioned a moment ago in his pre-race interview how excited he was when he was talking about this racetrack. When you have a confidence level at a particular racetrack, does that feel like it gives you an edge?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there have been many times that I went to the short tracks and behind in the points and had confidence in me that, hey, I can make some points up here if I needed to. This is a good track for me. But for the Ginsburg, with a big lead like he's got right now and that confidence level going into this race, I really believe that's got a lot to do with it. Right now, he's got to be feeling sky high. He's got a fast car.
Trouble up in turn number 2. Todd Gilliland just slid up and bounced the car off the outside wall. He quickly brings the car down to the pit lane. No caution. We stay under green, but Alex, that car just took off on him when he got to the end of the front straightaway.
Yeah, not sure if he cut down a right front tire or not. He's on pit road under green flag conditions. He'll lose a handful of laps in this exchange right now. Gilliland's team working on that car as we stay under the green flag. Shane Van Gisbergen's lead the length of a full straightaway over second place Carson Hocevar. Ryan Preece is 3rd, Michael McDowell is 4th, and Zane Smith rounds out the top 5. Ty Gibbs goes 6th, Ty Dillon is 7th, John Hunter Nemechek 8th, Justin Haley 9th, and Bubba Wallace is 10th.
Running in 11th is A.J. Allmendinger. 12th is Riley Herbst. Noah Gragson has fallen to 13th. 14th is Eric Jones. Cole Custer is 15th. The Cody Ware car is 16th. Chad Fincham is 17th. And with Todd Gilliland's challenges being on the pit road. He's now back out onto the racetrack, but Todd has lost 2 laps and is in the 18th position.
We're now 10 laps away from the All-Star caution that will come out at or around lap number 50. If there's a natural caution, a problem on the racetrack, that could very well be it. So Todd Gilliland just made an unscheduled pit stop. Chris Wilner, what was the problem?
Well, they took the right front off of his Front Row Motorsports Ford, and there is a gaping hole in the right front tire, and also the Goodyear lettering is rubbed off. So contact ensuing to a cut tire for Todd Gilliland, ruining his day here in the Open.
So Todd Gilliland will not be advancing to the All-Star race. Unfortunate set of circumstances for Todd, as he, again, 2 laps down in the 18th and final position. Alex, I was surprised that Shane Van Gisbergen won the pole the other night. I'm even more surprised about how much he is smoking this field right now.
Yeah, his car is absolutely hooked up. Yeah, we still got a little over half of a race to go here in the Open, but how big would this be for Trackhouse Racing to put all 3 of their cars into the All-Star race in 2025? Steve Post, that would be a monumental feat and something they can really hang their hats on.
It certainly would, that is for sure. And Shane Van Gisbergen, he talked about the new experiences, and leading a race is a new experience here out on an oval track. So much so that he cued the mic and asked Stephen Doran, how's my pace? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? What do I need to do here to save the tires but to maintain the lead? Stephen told him everything looks like you're just fine, and just keep driving the race car as smooth as possible. Save those tires as smooth as possible, and boy, that advantage allows you to be smooth out there. Shane Van Gisbergen doing a really, really nice job here on an oval track, leading this race, and boy, I'll tell you, also just getting valuable seat time at the front of the field here on an oval.
I was just thinking that, Alex. I don't want to call this a test, because when you think of a test, you're coming in, you're changing shocks and springs and sway bars and all that stuff, but what you are getting right now is the opportunity in race conditions to click off laps and be consistent as possible, get feedback from the crew chief in real time, and to me, this is as valuable as a test.
I agree, but the big caveat to all of this is going to be the All-Star caution, which is scheduled to come out in 3 more laps, because Rusty, as good as that race car is right now, you know everybody else has to change the handling of their car. Do you change the handling of your car? That's the question mark he and his team are going to have to decide.
Yeah, for Ginsburg, I don't think he's going to change much at all, because that car's been locked down, and he wouldn't know to change anything because he's got that clean air. He's up front. The car's handling good. One thing I have learned, guys, I think that Preece messed around with Hocevar too long trying to get around him, and I think I would have put the bumper to Hocevar a little bit, moved him out of the way, because I think they burnt the tires down in Preece's car. One thing I learned from what I've been watching so far is if you get to a car, you better get around them real quick, because of this short track, it can wear your tires out, and then you won't have much to deal with.
Perhaps the lesson is learned now as we await the yellow flag to fly. 50 laps are complete, 50 laps to go. Once everybody comes around to complete that 50th lap, we will see the caution flag, and we await the rest of the field now coming off the corner. Here comes Cody Ware, the last car to cross the start-finish line, and the caution now is displayed for the All-Star caution. We are halfway home in the Open, and Shane Van Gisbergen has just taken that caution flag.
Pit road will open up in just a moment. We expect pit stops.
NASCAR history.
Petty wins his 200th career NASCAR victory.
Told by the people who made that history.
President Reagan was there. He got us on the front page, and we got him in the sports page. It was a good trade-off from that standpoint.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast The Road to Royalty. Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career, 50 Years of MRN, the 1993 season, Junior's Journey, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
The thrills of NASCAR racing from over 55 years of Motor Racing Network broadcasts.
Bobby Allison brings the race car right down in the middle of the track, crosses the start-finish line, and he will win the 24th annual Daytona 500.
Bill Elliott wins the Hooters 500. Alan Kulwicki, 1992 champion.
MRN Classic Races.
And in the whole pack, steaming for the finish line, Dale Earnhardt wins a Winston 500.
Find all the classic moments on MRN Classic Races on any podcast platform.
From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Wheelan Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
/Time to Talk, a message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me along with the cast and crew of the Motor Racing Network every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. Hear exclusive interviews.
It's my responsibility as a driver to leave the sport in a better place than it was when I got here, and certainly sometimes it comes with controversial takes.
The best moments from each of NASCAR's premier series.
They bang sideways at the line. Photo finish.
An in-depth breakdown to the latest NASCAR news and more. It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern.
Pit road is open. Steep post.
Carson Hocevar, the first to pull the strategy. 2 tires for Carson Hocevar. 2 tires for Ty Gibbs as well down here. 2 for Michael McDowell down here as well. Gisbergen, 4 tires and a chassis adjustment for Noah Gragson. Chris Wilner.
John Hunter Nemechek said the back end wanted to go sideways. They made a 4-tire change, filled it with Sunoco fuel. Ty Dillon, a 4-tire change, and Zane Smith was in lightning fast pit stop for Zane Smith and crew. Once again, hit the right rear tire, just was not in the racetrack. So they also made an air pressure adjustment on the Zane Smith machine. But here we go, the first and only caution, expected caution here in these pit stops for the open drivers.
Some taking Goodyear tires on the right side, some taking 4. Everybody topping off with Sunoco fuel.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast. And you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
NASCAR Live isn't just Tuesday nights. On Thursday, we go wide open with some of the sport's biggest legends.
Dover's so good that even concrete couldn't ruin it.
And some of NASCAR's rising stars.
I don't like getting drove in the back of, and I honestly don't like doing it, but you're not buddy-buddy with everybody, and I've had to learn that.
NASCAR Live Wide Open has you covered from the rookie class all the way to the Hall of Fame. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
More action, more awesome, more smoke, more sizzle, more soar, more roar, more friends, more family. Welcome to the one place where no matter who you are, you'll leave with something you'll never forget. Welcome to Pocono, June 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets now at PoconoRaceway.com.
The Tough Trucks of NASCAR, an exclusive podcast from the Motor Racing Network.
Ron Hornaday, green flag is in the air, and he will take the field quickly to turn 1.
Relive the moments of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series from its debut in 1995.
Checkered flag in the air. Skinner wins with the inaugural for the NASCAR Truck Series by Craftsman.
The legends of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Todd Bodine wins 4 in a row on super speedways.
The Tough Trucks of NASCAR, available on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
We are half a lap away from getting back to the Echo Park Restart Zone, presented by Echo Park Automotive. Echo Park Automotive, every car, happy owner.
Teammates will restart on the front row. Carson Hocevar to the outside, Michael McDowell to the inside. 2 tires for some, 4 tires for others. Green flag is back in the air. Hocevar and McDowell take them back to turn 1.
Teammates door to door into turn number 1. Hocevar runs the outside lane. He'll get the lead on the back straightaway. Ty Gibbs will follow him around the outside. McDowell trying to keep a wheel in down low.
He's going to be strong at the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get up and clear the Ty Gibbs machine. Cannot do it. Nearly touching wheels as they race back into turn number 1.
They run side by side for second and third. Right behind them, Shane Van Van Gisbergen trying to make his way underneath Bubba Wallace. Can't get it done on the backstretch.
Further back, John Hunter Nemechek, A.J. Allmendinger made contact a lap ago. They were 3 wide off the end of the back straightaway. They will settle down. Nemechek almost gets into Allmendinger yet again. Hocevar will pull away at lap 60, leaving us with 40 to go. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. It's NASCAR All-Star Night at the North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Motor Racing Network on the air with live coverage of the Open, soon to be the NASCAR All-Star Race. Mike Bagley, Alex Hayden, Rusty Wallace with you topside. Dave Moody is in the corners. We've also got Steve Post and Chris Wilner in the pits in the garage area. It was all Shane Van Gisbergen in the first half of the Open. We've just gone under green for the second half, and now Alex Carson Hocevar has taken control of this race.
After a strategy call, taking 2 right side Goodyear Racing Eagles on his pit stop, Shane Van Gisbergen, who dominated that first 50-lap run, now finds himself, Dave Moody, back in position number 6.
He has a trunk full of A.J. Allmendinger as well. SVG just picked up a couple of spots with a 3-wide move a couple of laps ago. He finally has been able to get to that high lane where he's done such good work so far tonight.
Side by side for third, Bubba Wallace and Michael McDowell just made contact in turn 4. They made contact again in turn 2.
Trading pain all the way through turns 1 and 2. Now down the back straightaway they'll separate. Wallace on the inside, McDowell on the outside. Now you can add Ryan Preece to the mix.
Wallace took McDowell up the track in turn 4, left the bottom wide open. Ryan Preece is trying to take full advantage.
Ryan Preece now will wedge Bubba Wallace all the way to the wall in turn number 2. He comes storming to the inside. Preece is on the move. He's got third.
Physical racing for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. 3 wide further back. But for third, it's Preece, Bubba Wallace, and Michael McDowell with A.J. Allmendinger looking on.
Wallace looking to the inside on Ryan Preece as A.J. Allmendinger looks to the inside for the 5th spot. For the moment, they'll all drop back to single file formation.
I'll tell you what, guys, that move Ryan Preece made, he bombed that baby down into turn 3 and just muscled himself right up in front of the 23 Carl Wallace. That was just one heck of a piece of driving right there. I enjoyed watching that.
Now he's got some work to do to try to run down the second place and final transfer spot to be in the All-Star race. Ryan Preece third. Ty Gibbs is second. He's got 2.5 car lengths to make up in turn 2.
Challenge is on for the number 5 spot, A.J. Allmendinger, whose car wasn't that good early. They made some good adjustments on the pit stop. He is side by side with McDowell for position number 5.
A.J. Allmendinger just took McDowell up the racetrack, went way too high. McDowell cut to the bottom. Now they're wheel to wheel, getting pressure from Shane Van Gisbergen, and now Ty Dillon's in the mix as well.
Ty dives to the bottom, makes it 3 wide through turn number 2. Van Gisbergen around the outside. Gibbs around the inside. The big loser, Michael McDowell.
He'll have to fall back in line and live to fight another lap. Lap number 70 goes on the board. We've got 30 to go in the All-Star Open.
Drivers, start your engines!
Your home for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Green flag goes in the air and we are underway.
On the NASCAR Racing Network.
2 by 2 by 2. They're about 10 rows deep of double-wide racing. Taylor Gray to the bottom. Nick Sanchez outside, and they're crashing mid-pack.
It's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on the NASCAR Racing Network.
From legendary races to heart-pounding finishes, NASCAR Channel is your 24/7 pit stop for all things NASCAR. Streaming classic moments, iconic rivalries, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world's greatest drivers. Dive into the NASCAR culture with shows about the cars, the teams, and the personalities that make it America's most exciting motorsport. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Start streaming now on Tubi.
Ryan Preece on the move again, laid the bumper to the back of the Ty Gibbs car, moved him up the racetrack. Preece now to second. He's in the final transfer spot and pulling away, trying to run down current race leader Carson Hocevar. 26 laps to go in the Open from North Wilkesboro Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands. in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast, and you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Lap number 78 goes on the board. We are under caution now for the second time. A piece of debris has come off of one of the race cars. It's come to rest up against the safer barrier right at the exit of turn number 4. That is in a precarious position. NASCAR had no choice but to put the caution flag in the air.
So that's good news for Ryan Preece. That's also bad news for Carson Hocevar. Hocevar had a decent lead, but Ryan Preece was really coming on strong, Rusty. He muscled his way by Ty Gibbs, and now he'll be starting on the front row, we think, or in the general vicinity of, obviously, race leader Carson Hocevar.
Yeah, we were just talking a little while ago. Carson Hocevar leading this thing with Ryan Preece in second. Before the caution flag come out, they had a pretty good distance between the second-place car and the third-place car. We were talking, hey, when Preece gets to that 77, if I was the 77 of Hocevar, I might just let him by because the top two are guaranteed in the All-Star race. Whole different story right now. Now, with this restart, if I was Preece and I get close to Hocevar, I'm going to move the dude. I'm getting him out of there, and I'm checking out because he definitely has a faster car than that 77. I'm talking about Ryan Preece, faster than Hocevar.
Rusty Wallace, when have you let anybody go on a short track?
Hey, look, we're short track racing, and it's all about the money. You got to remember that now.
That's right.
We're not points racing. We're money racing right now, baby. Now, you know what? I like the cash.
Pit lane is open. There are some drivers coming to pit road. Let's start our coverage with Chris Wilner.
A.J. Allmendinger, just a quick two-tire change. He's down and away. The call was to drive out of his rearview mirror to see who behind him was coming in. That included Ty Dillon as well as John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones, all opting to pit. Steve Post.
Riley Herbst brings his automobile into the crew. Here's Noah Gragson coming in. The handle has really never come around on that car. And Michael McDowell got roughed up out there, lost all kinds of spots. They're going to bring that car down and work on it. McDowell gets right side tires. Going to be 4 tires for Michael McDowell, 4 tires for Noah Gragson.
A.J. Allmendinger, John Hunter Nemechek, the first off the pit lane, followed by Cole Custer, Ty Dillon, and Eric Jones. We're live from the North Wilkesboro Speedway, presented on MRN by Progressive Insurance. It's easy to bundle your home and car insurance at Progressive.com.
Todd Gilliland, after an unscheduled pit stop earlier in the race, lost 2 laps with the pitting under green. He's been able to make both of those laps up because of the cautions and getting the free passes. So Todd Gilliland is back in the game. Still some work to do, and he's going to need some luck on his side and perhaps some issues with cars in front of him. Bottom line, though, he's back in it and he's got a chance.
Field is getting the 1-to-go signal right now. Carson Hocevar is the leader. Here's how they're running, presented by Napa. Napa, their nationwide network of parts, service, and know-how are built to turbocharge businesses big, small, and everything in between. Learn more at NapaOnline.com.
Carson Hocevar being scored the race leader. He'll choose the outside lane for the restart. Ryan Preece is second. He'll go to the inside lane on the front row. Third is Ty Gibbs. Fourth is Bubba Wallace, and Shane Van Gisbergen is fifth. Justin Haley is sixth. A.J. Allmendinger seventh. They've waved off the restart here. We'll go at least one more lap. Being scored eighth at the moment is John Hunter Nemechek. Ninth is Cole Custer, and 10th is Ty Dillon.
Eric Jones is 11th. Noah Gragson is 12th. 13th is Michael McDowell. 14th is Riley Herbst. Zane Smith is posted 15th. 16th is Cody Ware with Todd Gilliland in 17th. And Chad Fincham is posted in the 18th position. Everybody is on the lead lap.
We have a penalty going to be handed out to Ryan Preece. It was a choose rule violation. There is an orange V painted on the racetrack with an orange box in the middle of that V. That's about 25 yards past the start-finish line. The drivers have to make their choice on what lane to restart in by going left or right of that V. If you run over the orange box in the middle of that, you'll be penalized and fall to the tail end of the field. Ryan Preece just committed that foul.
A costly mistake. When the green flies, 17 to go, he'll need a miracle to make it in to the All-Star race. So it's Bubba Wallace and Carson Hocevar restarting on the front row. Hocevar is gone already, but Bubba Wallace is going to send it in deep into one.
And he drifts way up the banking, squeezes Ty Gibbs all the way to the safer barrier. That allows Hocevar to get away. Bubba Wallace is second. Shane Van Gisbergen down low for third.
Van Gisbergen, the first car on 4 fresh Goodyear tires after the pit stop. He makes his car wide as he races his way back to turn 1.
SVG puts the nose to the inside of Bubba Wallace, looking 3 wide underneath him. Here comes John Hunter Nemechek as they bang and bump into turn number 3.
And they're doing it for the 4th position. Now they're 3 wide. They try to ease up alongside Ty Gibbs. SVG will give way. Give Gibbs 3rd. Now 3 wide behind him for 4.
John Hunter Nemechek down to the bottom of the racetrack, takes the 3rd spot away. Ty Gibbs gets drop kicked back to 4th. Shane Van Gisbergen now. And Eric Jones going 3 wide for the 4th, 5th, and 6th spot.
The number 2 spot is up for grabs. The final transfer spot into the All-Star race. John Hunter Nemechek to the inside of Bubba Wallace.
Nemechek from deep in the field makes the late run. They're side by side on the back straightaway. Bubba Wallace by half a car length has the advantage.
Carson Hocevar comes off the turn. He's about to lead his 33rd lap. Behind them, they're rooting and gouging. Bubba Wallace to the outside. John Hunter Nemechek looks low in 1.
Shane Van Gisbergen is 3 wide on the inside. They're 4 wide coming off turn number 2 as Ty Dillon jumps to the bottom of the racetrack. Something's got to give. Nobody gives. Now Gibbs gets rooted all the way to the outside.
Off turn number 4, still 3 wide further back. They're wheel to wheel for the final transfer spot in front of them.
Gloves are off as they battle back around the 5th position. They're also side by side for the final transfer spot to the All-Star race. Down low, John Hunter Nemechek. Up high, Bubba Wallace.
They're banging on each other, coming off the corner. The fans are on their feet at North Wilkesboro, watching a tremendous battle for the final transfer spot.
Hardly a seat being used right now. Here comes John Hunter Nemechek again. Up onto the back bumper of Bubba Wallace. Here comes Eric Jones to the outside of Nemechek. Wallace tries to crowd him to the outside.
10 laps to go in the open. Carson Hocevar's the leader. He's long gone. It's a free-for-all from second on back.
Eric Jones got a piece of the outside wall coming off turn 4 after getting together with Bubba Wallace. He continues to hammer away. It's Nemechek second, Wallace third, Ty Dillon to the inside, then Eric Jones.
Hocevar is away with the lead. He'll lead by a second over Nemechek. 3 wide for 3rd. Here comes Eric Jones up the gut.
Jones, who tangled with the wall a moment ago, gets it again. He's sideways, bounces off the fence. He'll lose 2, 3, 4 positions on the back straightaway.
Boy, the guy who lost on that one was Bubba Wallace. They beat on him, knocked him to the bottom of the track, knocked him to the top of the track. And my gosh, what about 4 wide off of turn 2? Unbelievable. These guys are laying it to it tonight.
Carson Hocevar the leader. 7 laps to go, this time by. John Hunter Nemechek has the bullseye on his back bumper. The final transfer spot. His teammate Eric Jones now trying to run him down for the position.
And Ty Dillon from deep in the field at the start of the race tonight is up to the number 4 spot. He challenges Eric Jones for 3rd down the back straightaway.
Here they come now off the corner, watching a battle for 3rd. Ty Dillon and Colleague Racing to the inside. Eric Jones, Legacy Motor Club to the outside. They've got to stop with the battle because the front 2 are pulling away.
And they are indeed. Carson Hocevar's got about 6 car lengths in hand over Nemechek. Nemechek with 5 now over Eric Jones.
They make their way back to the line. 5 laps to go in the open. Top 2 will advance to the All-Star race. At the moment, it's Carson Hocevar and John Hunter Nemechek.
Here they come off turn number 2. Hocevar with the lead in hand. Nemechek's got daylight front and rear right now. Eric Jones trying to reel him in, but he's running out of real estate.
Eric Jones is the one that's got to get it done. He's got a pretty good run off of turn 4 right now. He's running it down into turn 1, just right on the about 2 car lengths behind Nemechek right now. But if he can stay high, guys, and keep that momentum off of 2, he might have a shot.
Eric Jones right now faces a challenge from Ty Dillon. They're side by side for third. It's Hocevar and John Hunter Nemechek, the top two, pulling away as they race their way back to the corner. 3 laps to go in the open.
Carson Hocevar off the second turn to the back straightaway. He's got real estate in hand over Nemechek. Nemechek in turn has some distance as he holds the final spot over his teammate Eric Jones.
Got 2 laps to get the job done. Hocevar still up front. Nemechek by 3.5 car lengths over a side-by-side battle for third.
Ty Dillon continues to give it all he's got on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to overhaul the Eric Jones machine. Hasn't been able to make it stick as they race off to the straightaway.
Here they come now off turn number 4. White flag is waving. Final lap of the Open at North Wilkesboro is underway.
Carson Hocevar all by himself at the front of the pack. 3, now 4 car lengths in hand over John Hunter Nemechek. Hocevar with the lead into 3.
Carson Hocevar in the middle of the racetrack through turns 3 and 4 has a 4 car length advantage over John Hunter Nemechek. Checkered flag is in the air from Brett Dalton, and the Open belongs to Carson Hocevar. He'll be an all-star in 2025. The final transfer position goes to John Hunter Nemechek. He too will be an all-star in 2025. What a drive for both of those drivers as they will now slow down and start thinking ahead now to race for $1 million. Let's go to pit road.
And they are absolutely talking. Luke Lambert is the crew on that one. Luke, how about that? Your driver wheeled the car, 2-tire call on the pit stop. You guys are going all-star racing. How did that unfold for you?
Yeah, it was great. I'm really proud of everybody here. Pit crew did a great job executing. Carson did a wonderful job holding on. We didn't quite have the balance we needed when the track was green right there, but he did a great job hanging tough the whole time, protecting track position, and got us where we needed to be at the end.
No doubt, where they needed to be at the end. That's Luke Lambert, crew chief for winning driver of the Open, Carson Hocevar.
Carson Hocevar and John Hunter Nemechek are moving on to the All-Star race. 1 position left to be settled. We're waiting to hear who has won the fan vote and will join the others that will race in the main later this evening.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grau.
Hi, I'm Donnie Shaw.
This is Brian Brown.
This is Danny Dietrich.
Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strummy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. All sprint cars, all the time.
We're at the start-finish line.
William Byron on pole position. Green flag is out and we're racing.
We're in the turn.
Here to the inside comes Kyle Larson. He and Hamlin bump.
We're on pit road.
4-tire Sunoco Racing Fuel. The race off of pit road is Denny Hamlin. Eric Jones goes off second.
We are live from the track. The Motor Racing Network, your home for NASCAR racing. Don't miss a lap, pit stop, or side-by-side race for the win. Listen to all the play-by-play action on your local radio station at MRN or NASCAR.com.
Carson Hocevar and John Hunter Nemechek have raced their way into the NASCAR All-Star race. The third driver to join them is the winner of the fan vote. And for the 3rd year in a row, Noah Gragson will move on and race into the NASCAR All-Star race. From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Cycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me along with the cast and crew of the Motor Racing Network every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. Hear exclusive interviews.
It's my responsibility as a driver to leave the sport in a better place than it was when I got here. And certainly sometimes it comes with controversial takes.
The best moments from each of NASCAR's premier series.
They bang sideways at the line. Photo finish.
An in-depth breakdown to the latest NASCAR news and more. It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern.
Back at North Wilkesboro Speedway, the All-Star Open is over. Carson Hocevar is the winner, and he's with Steve Post.
Carson Hocevar down here talking to crew chief Luke Lambert as they kind of debrief, giving a little knuckle to knuckles. Your crew chief walked in and said, way to be tough. How tough was that from you for you there, Carson, to win that race?
We were really loose. I had my hands full for sure, but yeah, it's great to be an all-star per se for a night and be able to be in the big show. I've watched this and been a fan for all my life, right? So to be able to do this and win the Open is super cool, and I think it tells a lot about this race team. You know, North Wilkesboro's badass. I love everything about this facility and everything. So I like our race car yesterday. I didn't like it today, but if we're that fast and I don't like it at all, hopefully this is a good sign for us. This Indiana Fever team won last night, so we're going to have to try and at least won the Open, and hopefully we can do a little bit better in the All-Star.
Just describe to us the discipline of leading on the outside and having people inside of you seemingly all the time. How challenging is that to maintain patience yet aggressively holding the top spot?
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Open, right? It's make it or bust. So you know people are going to be aggressive, and for me, it's good old-fashioned dirt racing feel. It's just running the top and trying to unwind the wheel and get momentum and get them on exit. But and unlike dirt racing, they can hit you and get in your left rear. And of all people, I probably deserve it more than anybody else, or have one coming. So no problem of just being aggressive there. But everybody raced really clean and respectful, and being able to control the restarts really helped that.
That's Carson Hocevar. He may have one coming, but he is an all-star here tonight as he wins the Open here at North Wilkesboro.
John Hunter Nemechek finished in second. He, too, will make his way to the all-star race. He's with Chris Wilner.
And what a call. 2 tires from Trent Owens. And I tell you what, Travis Mack, I tell you what, 2 tires, though, at a racetrack like this. We saw it work yesterday in the heat races, but it said improve the handling of your race car. So walk me through, finally, to that restart. You had to get elbows out.
Yeah, it definitely was elbows up moment, but just hats off to the whole 42 team. They've worked really hard since we got here, and excited to be in the All-Star race. Excited to go race for $1 million tonight and see what we can do. We got some adjustments that we need to make before racing here in just a little bit, but I'm proud of the men and women from Legacy Motor Club. Definitely a step in the right direction with our program, and 2 tires worked out for us.
I mean, this is a big win for the program, but also the matter of fact that we saw some great racing. Is this kind of a precursor of what we're going to see tonight for the All-Star race?
I guess we'll see. I'm not really sure.
We'll find out what happens. Once again, the 2-tire call from Travis Mack, and that gets John Hunter Nemechek into the All-Star race.
What an excellent call by both teams there to get the top 2 positions. Here is how they finished the All-Star Open. Carson Hocevar wins it. John Hunter Nemechek was second. Both will advance to the All-Star race. Ty Dillon finished third. Eric Jones was fourth, and Michael McDowell fifth. Zane Smith was sixth. A.J. Allmendinger seventh. Bubba Wallace was eighth. Cole Custer ninth, and Riley Herbst was 10th.
Ryan Preece finished 11th. Todd Gilliland was 12th. Shane Van Gisbergen was 13th. Justin Haley 14th. Ty Gibbs 15th. Cody Ware finished in 16th with Noah Gragson in 17th, and he got the fan vote. He, too, is headed to the All-Star race with Chad Fincham finishing in the 18th and final position.
NASCAR Live isn't just Tuesday nights. On Thursday, we go wide open with some of the sport's biggest legends.
Dover's so good that even concrete couldn't ruin it.
And some of NASCAR's rising stars.
I don't like getting drove in the back of, and I honestly don't like doing it. But you're not buddy-buddy with everybody, and I've had to learn that.
NASCAR Live Wide Open has you covered from the rookie class all the way to the Hall of Fame. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
We are the voice of NASCAR.
The green flag is in the air, and we are underway. The Great American Race.
The Motor Racing Network. NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and Craftsman Truck Series Racing live on your hometown radio station and MRN or NASCAR.com. Martinsville, Talladega, the Chicago Street Course. We have the side-by-side action and last lap passes for the win.
Photo finishes. Ryan Blaney will win.
The voice of NASCAR, the Motor Racing Network.
When we come back, NASCAR Live Race Day will continue as we count you down to the start of the 2025 renewal of the NASCAR All-Star Race. From North Wilkesboro Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast. And you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
With a third of its 2025 schedule complete, the NASCAR Cup Series puts points and playoff discussions aside tonight. The NASCAR All-Star Race is ready to be run at the legendary North Wilkesboro Speedway. Stage points and playoff points are not up for grabs tonight, but bragging rights and big purse monies are. Not to mention the notoriety of beating the sport's best. Chase Elliott is attempting to become a two-time All-Star winner in this race.
It's not easy, and it's not like people just show up and don't try.